What's up guys, Noah here. Welcome back to another Python video. In today's video we will be talking about math operations in Python. So as always, make sure to fire up your idle. I got my output tab over here and I got my coding tab over here. And as a reminder, file and then new file, and then this will show up, and then make sure to save it as well. So let's get right into it. So chances are you guys all know like the basic operators: addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. So I'm going to just be going over all of them, just showing the syntax for all of them today. We're also going to be talking about exponentials and then modulo division, which I'll explain later when we get to it. But let's get right into it. So we have our variable, let's say a equals, and then a equals 8 plus 3. So for addition, that is our syntax right there, just a little plus sign. So that's one way of writing it, but the more common way of writing it is we'll have two different variables, and then we'll have another one. It says d equals 5 plus, b plus c. So then we'll print d just to show you guys how it looks. But basically, b was defined up here as 5, c was defined up here as 4. So this is more commonly how you're going to see any of these math operations. Instead of just adding stuff just like this, you'll see us add in different things like variables together. So when we run this, it should print 9. Look at that. You got addition done. But actually, I'm going to show you one more thing for addition. You're allowed to do addition operators, right inside of print statements. So you can say print 8 plus 3, and then you can print b plus c right in there. Same deal. 8 plus 3 is 11, and then b plus c, which we saw before, was 9. So you're allowed to do them, either save them as a variable, or you're allowed to do them right inside of print statements. And this goes for all the ones I'm going to go through, but I'm just going to show you it with addition, but it's rule of thumb for all of it, so I'm not repeating the same exact things every time. So next one we're going to do is subtraction. So let's call it s is equal to 8 minus 3. So that's syntax for minus. You just have your minus sign. And then the same exact deal, the stuff up front. I'll repeat it for this one, but for the rest of them, I'll kind of won't. I don't want to waste your guys' time. So we have s1 equals 5. s2 we'll say is equal to 4. And then d2 is equal to s1 minus s2. So then when we print d2, we should get 1. And we do. We get 1 because s1 was defined as 5, s2 was defined as 4, and then when you do this, you get your 1. So our next one is going to be multiplication. So we have m for multiplication, and then we'll say 4 times 5. So this little asterisk, I believe it's called, is what drivers and updates. Sweet. This little asterisk here is what we use for multiplication. So same deal as everything else that I showed you above. You can replace multiplication in any one of these, and then the same rules apply for all of them. So the next one is slightly different than the last one. So far, with all of these operators, you're allowed to use integers with integers, and then floats with floats. And a reminder, a float, something like this, like 10.5, or just something with that little decimal point in a number. You're allowed to add them together, and then the answer of those things when you do a math operator on them is always what it was. So if you add two floats, your answer is always going to be a float. So I'll just write this out to show you. Like 10.5 is always going to be equal to 0.0. So it's always going to have like the float thing in it. But if you have like 10 plus 10, it's always just going to be 20. So like if you, the outcome is always going to be the two things that you put in, except for this one. So for division, we'll say Q for division. So Q will say 8 divided by 2. So I'm going to print this and show you guys what it does. So in Python, it's called float division because when you use it, instead of bringing back or returning, let's say return, instead of returning an integer when you divide two integers together, it returns a float actually. So if we print Q here, I'll show you. You get 4.0. I'm not sure why it does that. That's just how it works. When you divide stuff, you always get it back as a float. So that's just a rule of thumb, just to kind of know, like when you're doing like functions and stuff down the road, which we'll get there and we'll learn about it. But when you do division, it comes out as floats. And then same deal, same thing with the rest of them. But I just want to let you guys know that it comes out looking like this and not just 4. It'd be 4.0. All right, so the next one is going to be probably the harder one, the hardest one out of all of these. It's called modulo division. So basically, all it is remainder division. So you guys remember like you're doing your division in like 5th grade where you have like the little like they call it like the hut or whatever. If you have like 8 divided by 2, you put the 2 and then you put like the little hut and then the 8, whatnot, and you get 4, nice and clean. But what about for remainder? So we have something we'll say capital M for modulo is equal to 10 modulo 3. So modulo is going to be this little percent sign. So it's like right above the 5 on most people's keyboards. It's going to be the percent sign. So you do the big number, modulo, obviously the little number for remainder division. So basically, remainder division in the simplest terms is how many times can this go into this without going over, which is 9. We know that the highest you can get with 3 to get to 10 is 9. And then you take your 10 that you started with and you subtract it from your 9, and your remainder is 1. That's all remainder division is, if you remember it from, I don't even know when they would teach remainder division. I think it was like 5th or 6th grade or something, 4th maybe grade as well. But yeah, basically the module, it always just gives you the remainder. So if we go ahead and print M, we should get 1. We get 1. Yeah, so we can go in like on a larger scale as well. So we can say 20 divided by 6, because we all know 20 can't be divided by 6 evenly, but the largest number that 6 can go into 20 is 18, obviously, because 6 times 3 is 18, and then if you do it again, it's 24, we can't go over. And then you take 20 minus your 18, which is 2. So from this, we should be getting 2. Okay. We'll come back with that on the quiz later. But our next one is another it's actually a fairly simple one. It's exponential. So you guys all know like exponents and whatnot. Normally, like you'd see it written like this to like this, like 5 to the power of 2, and you know that's like 25 or something. But in Python, we'll call it capital E for exponents. We'll say, so basically, if we have 2, and then you can say to the power of 2. So as we saw before, the single asterisk is multiplication, but then 2 of them in a row means exponent. So it's this number to this power. So if we go ahead and print E, that's what I called it, when our variable assigning, it should give us 4. And it does. It gives us 4 right down there. So that works perfectly. So I'll do something different because like that 2 times 2 and 2 raised to the 2 is the same thing. So we'll do something different. We'll say 4 raised to the power of 2. And we'll look at that. Should be getting 16. There we go. We got 16. And there's one more that I just kind of want to touch on, but I'm going to explain it more in the next video. So there's something called floor division, where basically if you take one number and divide it by another number, and if there's like a remainder, for example, so like I believe it's like 10 divided by 3 is 3 point something something something. With floor division, which is defined by 2 slash marks, it just puts it right to 3. In the next video, we're going to be talking about important math, and they have a built-in floor function. So I'm going to save that for then. I'll teach you the math.floor in the next video, but I just kind of wanted to hint at it because like some people prefer just to do the floor and like right when you do your math, but some people prefer to do it in a separate step. Like me, I prefer doing a separate step, but it's worth mentioning. So like I can just do this just to show you guys. So you got 10 divided by 3. which is 3. And then normally, obviously, if it's just normal division, you get the whole float that I don't feel like really showing right now. But yeah, so that's math operators. I'm just gonna go ahead and just give you guys a quick quiz. Make sure you guys got it. And as always, drop a comment or join the Discord and ask us questions if you need. So remember our comment from last video. These guys. So I'm just gonna give a quick just to make sure, because I'm sure the syntax is the easier part. But I'll have you guys write out what 20 modulo 3 would look like. So just write out like what it would look like. Just remember the syntax of it. So then write out what 2 raised to the power of 4 look like. And then what is, let's say, we'll do something different. We'll say 30 modulo, I don't even know if I'm spelling that right. Sorry if I'm not. 20, 30 module 4. Pause the video, just answer these quick 3 questions, and then I'll answer it in about 10 seconds or so. All right, if you paused it and figured it out, good job. So for the first one, write out what 20 module 3 would look like. So very simply, remember, %, 3. That is it. You could have signed it to a variable if you did. Extra credit to you. But I'm just going to write out exactly how it looks. That's 20 module 3. So then write out what 2 raised to the power of 4 would look like. So we got 2 raised to the power of 4. There you go. Once again, bonus points if you assigned it to a variable. I didn't, so I don't get bonus points, but you guys do if you did. And then what is 30 module 4? So, doing the math in my head, I guess. So we know that the closest thing that you can get to 30 with from 4 is 28, because 4 times 7 is 28. So then 30 minus 28 is equal to 2. So then 30 module 4 should be 2. And we can just print that out just to make sure. And if I'm wrong, then you guys can flame me in the comments, because I just made those numbers up on the spot and I have no idea if I'm actually right or not. 2. Thank God. There we go. And that's all we got for today's video. As again, if you guys have any questions, join the Discord or just leave a comment here in YouTube. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next videos for important math, which is about the same kind of concept. Hopefully it's not as long as this one. But yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one.